September 19th is not a normal day. On calendar, it looks the same as every other date, but it's not because it happens right before the solar eclipse, one of the most powerful shifts of the year. And before that arrives, your body will start to react. You may feel tired and restless at the same time. You might feel sudden pressure in your head, ringing in your ears, or emotions you can't explain. These aren't random. They're signals. September 19th is the trigger. It's the moment your body begins preparing for what the eclipse will bring, and there are 7 clear symptoms that prove it. So stay with me, because if you notice even one of these signs, you'll know the awakening has already begun. Like this VI, subscribe, and type the number 111 in the comments below to claim this awakening. On September 19th, the moon is preparing the stage for the solar eclipse. This isn't just astronomy, it's energy. The moon pulls at the ocean tides, and in the same way it pulls at the tides inside you. The symbolic meaning is powerful. The moon represents emotion, intuition, and hidden truth. When it stirs so close to an eclipse, it pushes those hidden parts of yourself to the surface. What you've been ignoring can no longer stay silent. That's why your body reacts. You may feel highs and lows in your mood, sudden bursts of energy, or even physical pressure. It's your inner system adjusting to the shift. And it matters now because this window is short. What you feel in your body on September 19th is the preparation for transformation. It's your signal to pay attention. The first strange body symptom is an unexpected rush in your heartbeat. You might be sitting still, doing nothing unusual, when suddenly it feels like your chest is racing. This isn't just anxiety or nerves. It's your system trying to process an invisible surge of energy. The heart, after all, is your body's drum, and when the rhythm changes, it means your inner world is trying to catch up to what's happening around you. Think of it like music speeding up without warning. At first it feels uncomfortable, maybe even alarming, but the body is only mirroring the higher frequency, pressing in from beyond. If your heart begins to beat louder or faster on this date, don't panic. Breathe into it. Pay attention. It's a signal that your physical self is realigning, preparing you for the intensity that comes with the eclipse energy. The second strange body symptom is sudden pressure in the head. Some people describe it as heaviness on the temples, while others feel it as a band of tension wrapping around their forehead. On the surface, it seems like a regular headache, but in truth, it's more like your mind being forced to clear space. Imagine a crowded room where someone suddenly opens the windows. The air shifts, the noise feels louder, and your senses take time to adjust. That's what this pressure really is, the adjustment. Instead of fearing it, notice what thoughts surface during these moments. Often the pressure comes when emotions or memories you've been avoiding start to break through. It's as though the body refuses to hold them down any longer. The head carries our mental clutter, and when that clutter is no longer sustainable, the body creates pressure to make us stop and listen. That discomfort is the signal to pause, reflect, and allow release rather than resisting it. The third strange body symptom is unexpected waves of emotion. One moment you feel fine, the next you're holding back tears or feeling anger that surprises even you. These swings can be confusing, especially if you pride yourself on keeping calm. But emotional surges are one of the clearest signs that your inner system is recalibrating. Think of it like shaking a bottle of water with sediment inside. Suddenly, all that was hidden rises to the surface. And although these feelings may overwhelm you, they are not here to harm you. They are surfacing so you can finally acknowledge them. September 19th may stir memories of the past, unfinished grief, or even long-buried desires. The emotions are not punishment. They are release. Each tear, each wave of anger or joy is your body's way of making room for the eclipse energy to enter cleanly. If you can allow the feelings to flow instead of pushing them away, you'll step into the coming days lighter, clearer, and far more aligned. The fourth strange body symptom is an unusual heaviness in your limbs. You could be walking, moving through your day, and suddenly your arms or legs carry a weight that wasn't there moments ago. It's not weakness. It's more like your body is anchoring itself, grounding you in the present moment. Think of a balloon tied with a string. Without that tether, it would float away without direction. In the same way, this heaviness arrives to keep you from drifting off in thought or losing yourself in distractions. That grounding isn't a punishment. It's a reminder when your body suddenly slows you down. It's inviting you to pause and reevaluate where your energy has been scattered. Have you been running from conversation to conversation without truly listening? Have you been caught in a cycle of noise that drowns out your own inner clarity? The weight in your limbs is not blocking you. It's guiding you like the earth itself, tugging you closer, insisting you connect back with what's real and unshakable. The fifth strange body symptom shows itself in your eyes, not in your vision alone, but in the way your eyes suddenly become sensitive to light, movement, or even the faces around you. It's as though your perception sharpens for reasons you can't explain. Lights may look brighter, shadows may feel deeper, and even the smallest details capture your attention. This is not about discomfort. It's about awakening your inner sight. Your eyes are the windows through which you take in the world. But during this period, they become more than that. They act as mirrors reflecting what you need to see about yourself. Perhaps you begin to notice emotions in the expressions of people you've overlooked. Perhaps you catch patterns in your surroundings that speak of choices you've been making unconsciously. The sharpening of perception is not random. It's a training ground showing you how to read beyond surface appearances. This is your chance to discover that your inner compass is sharpening, guiding you toward honesty, both with yourself and others. The sixth strange body symptom shows up through sound. It might be a sudden ringing or the way ordinary noises seem sharper, louder, or harder to ignore. A song you've heard 100 times might suddenly stir emotions you never expected. The ticking of a clock might seem amplified. Conversations that once slipped by unnoticed now cut into your awareness. This isn't a malfunction. It's your body tuning itself like an instrument adjusting to match the frequency of what's ahead. Sound has always carried power. From the lullabies that calmed you in childhood to the rhythm of words that can inspire or wound. What you hear shapes you more than you realize. During this stage, your sensitivity to sound reminds you that not every voice deserves a place in your mind. It's an invitation to be deliberate about what you allow in. Does the music you listen to lift you, or does it weigh you down? Do the voices you surround yourself with encourage growth, or do they keep you small? Your body is raising the volume on what matters so you can finally choose with clarity. September 19th acts as the backdrop for these shifts, but what matters more is the way you respond. Heaviness in your limbs asks you to slow down and ground yourself. Sensitivity in your eyes teaches you to see beyond appearances and into truth. Sharpness in your hearing reminds you to be selective with the voices and sounds that influence your energy. Each of these signs is practical, personal, and purposeful. They're not here to frighten you or disrupt your life. They're here to prepare you. The days around this alignment are like a rehearsal before the curtain rises. You are not being tested in the way you think. You are being guided. Your body is showing you that the world is louder, brighter, and heavier, because it wants you to engage with life differently. This is your chance to stop moving automatically and start moving intentionally. If you resist, the symptoms may feel overwhelming, but if you accept them, they transform into tools, anchors that hold you steady, mirrors that reveal truth, and instruments that fine-tune your awareness. When the eclipse comes, the alignment will push everyone, whether they realize it or not. But those who paid attention on September 19th will walk into that moment with more clarity, more strength, and more confidence. Your body isn't betraying you. It's preparing you for a stage where every part of your being will be called to rise higher. And in that preparation, the heaviness, the sharpness, and the heightened sensitivity are not problems. They are gifts handed to you in advance of what's coming. The seventh strange body symptom stands apart from all the rest because it doesn't come through the usual senses. It moves through you as a sudden change in rhythm, as though time itself behaves differently for a while. Minutes might stretch into hours, or hours might vanish in what seems like a blink. This distortion is not something to fear. It's your body aligning with a larger flow, reminding you that ordinary schedules do not control everything. When September 19th approaches, these moments of altered rhythm are signals that you are syncing with something beyond the clock on the wall. Think of it like the tide shifting on a shoreline. From a distance, it looks gentle, almost unnoticeable, but stand in the water and you feel it pulling at you, guiding your steps whether you move forward or stand still. In the same way, this change in rhythm moves through you to remind you that life is not meant to be squeezed into endless routines. It invites you to step back and ask, where are you rushing without meaning? And where are you dragging your feet out of fear? The body teaches you this lesson, not with words, but with these sudden shifts where time bends long enough for you to recognize what matters and what doesn't. This final symptom prepares you for more than an eclipse. It opens a doorway to reflection, urging you to consider how you've been measuring progress in your life. Have you been chasing numbers on a clock or moments that truly matter? When hours slip away unnoticed, it's because you've entered a state of presence. When minutes drag, it's because something inside is resisting. Neither is wrong. Both are lessons. They remind you that growth is not about speed but direction. When the solar eclipse follows, those who have paid attention to this rhythm will carry a new awareness. They won't see time as a chain pulling them forward. They'll see it as a river, something they can step into with choice and clarity. That's the gift of the seventh symptom, the chance to release the obsession with timing and embrace the experience of living fully, no matter what the calendar says. September 19th is not about struggle. It's about listening. And when time itself bends for you, it is the universe's way of saying you are exactly where you need to be. Imagine standing on the edge of something larger than your ordinary routines, as if the world you know is quietly preparing you for a crossing. It does not announce itself with fanfare. It arrives subtly, pulling you into awareness that life as you have been living it is about to ask more of you. The body has spoken. The signs have been shown. And now the real question is what you choose to do with them. Because this stage is not about recognizing signals anymore. It is about deciding how you will respond when the moment opens. This is where people either retreat into the familiar or step forward into the unknown with courage, not because the unknown is safe or easy, but because it is the only place where growth actually lives. The path you have been walking has brought you to this point, but it cannot carry you beyond it unless you dare to let go of what has kept you small. Every hesitation, every excuse, every loop of repeating habits wants to hold you back here. And yet within you, a different voice is asking for more. That voice is quiet compared to the noise of doubt, but it has always been the one that leads to change. What makes this turning point powerful is that it does not come from the outside world alone. It rises from the inside, showing you that the strength you've been waiting to discover has always been part of you. The outer events simply provide the mirror. Like a stage lit for a performance, the spotlight is not on the set but on you. And whether you choose to step forward or remain hidden is no longer determined by chance. It is decided by intention. Think about all the times you knew something in your life was no longer serving you, but you carried it anyway. Relationships that drained you. Habits that weighed you down. Promises you never intended to keep, but repeated out of obligation. Those choices stacked like stones, heavy yet familiar, until they became part of the landscape of your days. What this moment does is shake that landscape. It cracks the surface so you can finally see that you don't have to keep building walls around yourself with pieces of a life that was never meant to last forever. The beauty of turning points is that they reveal how strong you already are. You might remember a time when you thought you couldn't move forward, but you did anyway. You might recall a moment when every part of you wanted to give in, yet you found a spark that carried you through. That spark is not gone. It is waiting for you to call on it again. The body speaks in signals, but the spirit speaks in persistence. And persistence is what carries you across the threshold when everything else wants to hold you still. You are not here by accident. You are here because something inside you has been asking for change. Even if you could not name it, the events unfolding now do not create that change. They reveal it. Like a sculptor chipping away at stone, every challenge strips away what you are not. So the form of who you truly are can finally emerge. And while the process can be uncomfortable, the result is freedom. The kind of freedom that comes not from escaping life, but from engaging with it in a completely new way. This is the part where excuses lose their power. You cannot say you didn't know. You cannot pretend the signals were not there. You cannot hide behind the comfort of waiting until tomorrow because tomorrow will bring its own set of choices. And if you delay again, the cycle repeats. But if you claim the moment now, you break the loop. You declare with action that your life is too valuable to live halfway awake. That your time is too precious to spend on paths that lead nowhere. That your heart is too strong to be silenced by fear. The truth is that transformation is never polite. It does not knock on the door and ask permission. It barges in and rearranges the furniture, and you have two choices. Resist and cling to the old, or lean into the chaos and trust that what emerges will be better than what you left behind. That trust is not blind. It is the trust that comes from remembering how many storms you have already survived. How many times you have walked through uncertainty and found yourself stronger on the other side. This turning point is not here to break you. It is here to prove you can no longer be broken the way you once were. The empowerment comes when you stop waiting for permission. Permission from others to pursue your calling. Permission from circumstances to finally begin. Permission from the perfect moment that never arrives. The empowerment comes when you decide that now is enough. That you are enough and that the life you want is not waiting in some distant future, but in the choices you make today. That is the essence of transformation. Not being handed a new life, but creating one with the raw material of who you already are. Think of the great river carving its way through stone. It does not happen in an instant. It is not loud or dramatic, but over time the water shapes valleys, cliffs, and canyons. In the same way, your daily choices, though small, carve the path of your future. Each moment of courage wears down the hardness of old patterns. Each act of honesty cuts through the layers of denial. Each step into the unknown deepens the channel where new life can flow. And before long, you look back and realize the landscape of your life has been reshaped into something unrecognizable, something powerful, something true. If you are waiting for a sign that you are ready, understand that readiness is not a gift. It is a decision. People often believe they must feel prepared before they can act. But preparation is not what sparks action. Action is what creates preparation. The leap comes first. The wings grow on the way down. That is why this turning point matters so much. Because once you leap, there is no going back to the smaller version of yourself who stood on the edge wondering what might happen. This is where hope and empowerment meet. Hope tells you it is possible. Empowerment tells you it is possible because of you. You are not a spectator to cosmic movements. You are a participant. You are not a bystander waiting for fate to hand you instructions. You are the co-creator who writes those instructions with every choice you make. And when you act from that awareness, the world around you shifts to match. Do not underestimate the power of this moment. The same force that stirs oceans and turns night into day is alive within you. The same spark that moves galaxies burns in your own being. When you rise into alignment with that truth, you stop waiting for external proof and start living as proof yourself. That is the climax of this journey. Not waiting for signs in the sky, but realizing the sign has always been you. So here is the challenge. Stand in front of the life you have known and ask yourself whether you are willing to carry it forward as it is, or whether you are finally ready to demand more. Not more possessions, not more validation, more depth, more truth, more alignment with the parts of yourself that you've been silencing for far too long. That is what this turning point is offering you. Not a guarantee, not a shortcut, but an invitation. And the invitation will not wait forever. You are standing at the edge of something extraordinary. The signals have guided you. The rhythm has brought you here. And now all that remains is a choice. Do you carry the same story forward, or do you step into the unwritten chapter? The challenge is simple. Claim the strength you already have and walk into the unknown with it. This is not about becoming someone else. It is about finally becoming fully yourself. And when you do, the transformation you have been waiting for will no longer be something outside of you. It will be the life you are already living, bold, unstoppable, and entirely your own. At some point in every journey, there arrives a choice that divides the past from the future. That's what this moment represents. It's less about what is happening around you and more about what is finally stirring inside you, asking to be acknowledged. Change rarely arrives in the way we imagine. It doesn't come neatly packaged, waiting for a perfect schedule. It arrives raw, unpolished, and often inconvenient. And yet it carries the exact ingredient you've been searching for: the power to start again. The truth is, most people walk through their days without ever pausing long enough to ask where they are going. They are carried forward by habits, responsibilities, and distractions, often never realizing that they are moving in circles. What sets you apart in this moment is the awareness that things can be different. The awareness itself is the spark. Once you see that you are not bound by the loops you've been repeating, you can begin to step out of them. That awareness cannot be unlearned. It shifts you forever. Think about it. Every great story you've ever admired has a turning point. The character reaches a crossroad where the old path is no longer enough, and the new path demands courage. Without that moment, there is no growth, no breakthrough, no triumph. You are living that very chapter right now. The page is open and the next words are waiting. They will not be written by anyone else. They will be written by the actions you choose from here forward. What's remarkable is how often we underestimate ourselves. We carry memories of times when we stumbled, times when we gave up too soon, and we hold them as evidence against our strength. But those moments were not failures. They were training grounds. Every fall you endured taught you how to stand. Every delay taught you patience. Every setback gave you resilience. And now those qualities converge into the very resources you need to move forward. You may be asking, why now? Why does this matter in such a powerful way? Because cycles do not last forever. There comes a point when opportunities open, and if you step through them, your entire path is altered. But if you remain on the sidelines, that door closes and the chance dissolves. Not because you are unworthy, but because hesitation has a cost. When you wait too long, momentum slips away. That's why courage is not about never feeling uncertain. It's about moving anyway, even when the outcome is not guaranteed. Consider the ocean when it meets the shore. Waves crash and withdraw again and again, but every return leaves the coastline changed. You are that coastline. Life has been shaping you, sometimes gently, sometimes with force. And yet each encounter has carved new depth, new resilience. A climax is not some distant peak waiting for you years from now. It is here unfolding in this very instant. It is the recognition that your story is not stuck. It is alive. It is evolving. And you are the author who can guide it into places it has never been before. That realization alone is enough to ignite hope. But hope on its own is not enough. It must be followed by action. Small, steady, determined steps that prove to you day after day that the turning point was not wasted. So carry this truth with you. You are not defined by what has held you back. You are defined by what you choose to become next. No past decision, no setback, no hesitation has the power to cancel the strength that lives inside you now. And as you embrace that truth, you discover the kind of empowerment that does not fade because it does not depend on circumstances. It depends only on your choice to rise. September 19th carries more weight than a date passing by. It marks a threshold where inner changes mirror the movements of the sky. The body speaks through shifts and the mind awakens through reflection. Together they create a moment that calls for attention rather than dismissal. Across this journey we explored how these changes unfold, strange symptoms that are not random but purposeful. Each one pointed toward transformation, reminding us that growth is rarely comfortable, but always necessary. The connection between lunar movements and personal renewal is undeniable, and this is the time to embrace that truth. Transformation becomes real when awareness leads to action. Hope gains power when it is expressed through courage. And cosmic alignment becomes meaningful only when it awakens something inside us that refuses to stay the same. That is the invitation carried into the days ahead. Share in the comments what you've experienced leading up to this moment. Add your voice to others walking the same path. Subscribe and stay close because more guidance and insight are on the way. In the next video, we'll explore what happens as the eclipse moves closer and how it shapes the weeks that